plenty of time for more questions. Sorry it's a bit shorter today, guys. We'll see you later.
In the aftermath of the bombshell scandal that the Trump administration accidentally leaked highly sensitive classified military information to a reporter, Donald Trump's press secretary, Karoline Leavitt, became visibly triggered during today's White House press briefing, which she started late and then ended early in fear, running away from reporters like the coward she is. It was hilarious. But before we unpack all that, if you end up liking this video and you want to support the channel, please be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and alert bells before you go. Yeah, it's a bad day to be Karoline Leavitt. I don't think they have had a press briefing since this scandal broke. I don't recall one yesterday or the day before. And so this is the first White House press briefing, as far as I'm aware, since the scandal broke. And Karoline Leavitt did not handle it well. We're actually going to skip to the end, in which she cuts the White House press briefing short so as to not answer any more uncomfortable questions.
Rest assured to the American public, this administration is taking every precaution when it comes to protecting our national security. And that's why the American people reelected this president, because they know that our national security is in good hands with the President of the United States. Speaking of the Vice President, I understand he's going to be speaking any moment now. I would hate to counter-program the Vice President of the United States. You'll also hear from the President at 3 o'clock. He will be honoring women's history at the Women's History Month celebration. We have a lot of great women across our cabinet who will be in attendance, so we'll see you all there. And then you'll also hear from the President again at 4 o'clock when he talks about tariffs. So plenty of time for more questions. Sorry it's a bit shorter today, guys. We'll see you later.
Jeffrey Goldberg's number and Michael Waltz's phone if he's a registered Democrat and anti-Trump reporter.
Yep, Karoline Leavitt running away from the tough questions. Again, showed up late, left early, pissed, visibly pissed, and triggered the entire time. You see it on her face, you hear it in her voice. Such as this moment, for example, when CNN's Caitlin Collins goes to ask a perfectly relevant follow-up question, and Karoline Leavitt is pissed.
Does the president feel that he was misled by his national security advisors, whoever it was that told him there was no classified information in there, now that he's seen these messages?
I've now been asked and answered this question 3 times by the both of you, and I've given you my answer. The president feels the same today as he did yesterday.
Okay,
Philip.
And on my follow-up on what you had just said.
Go ahead, Philip.
Caitlin,
I'm not taking your follow-up.
I have a follow-up on something you just said, though, Caroline. That's
Caitlin,
regarding
I'm not
Jeffrey
taking
Goldberg.
your follow-up. Philip, go ahead. I have called on you.
The Vice President.
She is pissed, and it's so funny watching these triggered MAGA snowflakes totally melt under any sort of pressure. By the way, you should totally watch the White House press briefing in full. It's usually unhinged with Karoline Leavitt, but today was even more so, even more defensive and combative and full of piss and vinegar and excoriating the press. How dare Democrats in the mainstream media do X, Y, and Z? How dare you ask perfectly reasonable questions that we would absolutely ask if the shoe were on the other foot? You can't hold us to the same standards we try to hold you all to. Pathetic. Here's another clip.
If I can very quickly. In the chat, Pete Hegseth, the defense secretary, details F-18s, Tomahawks, so some of the weapons that were used. He details the timing involved for this, all of which occurred 31 minutes before, as he says, F-18s would launch. The DoD manual details classified information as significant military plans, saying that is secret, that's classified. So what about, there are no methods, there are no sources, but that's not what determines what's classified. So what is it about what Pete Hegseth wrote that makes you say this is not classified?
Well, it's not just me saying that, Peter. It's the Secretary of Defense himself who is saying this as well. And he put out a very strong statement earlier today listing all of the things that were not included in that message that he sent to the group. And again,
if I can very quickly.
So again, we understand that he sent a message out saying what wasn't in the message. Peter Alexander from NBC anticipated that, you moron, if you were paying attention. He also described the things that weren't listed in the leaked signal messages. So what you just offered was a non sequitur. And he said, despite that, this still clearly violates DoD policy with respect to classification. So on what basis is Pete Hegseth saying this wasn't classified? And she can't answer the damn question because, per usual, these MAGA Republicans are screwed on the facts. Here's another clip.
Thank you, Caroline. I'd like to clarify something about the investigation and also ask about some conservative commentary. On the investigation, Mike Waltz said last night that he had spoken to Elon Musk about figuring out how Jeffrey Goldberg's number got in his phone. You mentioned the NSC and the White House counsel's office investigating. Can you just clarify who is investigating, who's leading that, and also Dave Portnoy, who endorsed President Trump, said today that he thinks that Mike Waltz should leave. Could you respond to that?
Sure. Great respect for Dave Portnoy, but I just answered that previous question from Jennifer. As for your original question about who's looking into the messaging thread, the National Security Council, the White House counsel's office, and also, yes, Elon Musk's team. Elon Musk has offered to put his technical experts on this to figure out how this number was inadvertently added to the chat. Again, to take responsibility and ensure this can never happen again.
So funny. We'll probably discuss the Portnoy thing in a separate video, but it's hilarious because I actually on my own Twitter responded to this. It's so funny to watch the cope from these MAGA Republicans. As a matter of fact, the Democrats Fact Post account did this as well. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but somehow this Trump-hating journalist got sucked into this group chat somehow. And again, from the screenshot itself, Michael Waltz added you to the group. So it's not exactly a mystery, and I think it's hilarious that they're trying to invoke Elon Musk here. You know, Elon's going to get into the nanotechnology and advanced artificial intelligence needed to somehow infiltrate the United... No, actually, just your dumbass national security advisor screwed up, had Jeffrey Goldberg's number in his phone. That was his fault. And then he accidentally added Jeffrey Goldberg. Occam's razor, lazy lady. It's relatively straightforward. Let's just go with that instead of the, bullshit conspiracy theories that somehow your perfectly competent national security advisor was duped. He wasn't. He's a moron. We should make fun of him. You should make fun of him. Quite frankly, you should fire him. Can't believe Trump isn't scapegoating him yet, which he may very well do down the road. But pathetic cope from a pathetic administration. Here's another clip.
So why aren't launch times on a mission strike classified?
Again, I would defer you to the Secretary of Defense's statement he put out this morning. There were various reasons he listed things that were not included in that messaging thread that were not classified. And again, going back to the American public, do you trust the Secretary of Defense, who was nominated for this role, voted by the United States Senate into this role, who has served in combat, honorably served our nation in uniform? Or do you trust Jeffrey Goldberg, who is a registered Democrat and an anti-Trump sensationalist reporter?
Definitely Jeffrey Goldberg, right? Obviously not that Jeffrey Goldberg is a beacon of integrity, right? I mean, he has a checkered past with respect to his reporting on the Iraq War, to be sure, but certainly infinitely more credible than Pete Hegseth, especially since he produced the results, you moron. So yes, obviously we should trust Goldberg more than Hegseth, and you've given us no reason to contradict that whatsoever. And I love, again, how pissed off and triggered she is with Jackie Heinrich from Fox News. That's a Fox News reporter asking, again, a perfectly fair question. One last clip of cope from Karoline Leavitt as she struggles to deal with the disastrous news of her administration's incompetence.
And this has been the most successful first 2 months of any administration ever, which is exactly why they are doing this.
It's almost like Donald Trump wrote that himself. I'm the best ever. Everybody loves me, even though my polling's in the toilet. And actually, I'm wildly unpopular and at the shortest honeymoon period in the history of presidential politics. And also, people aren't even liking the economy, and that used to be my biggest thing, and all these things. Mediaite has a good report about the initial rant that Karoline Leavitt had to begin this presser. White House Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt raged against the Atlantic's Jeffrey Goldberg and, quote, propagandists in the media that she claimed are pushing, quote, the signal hoax, referring to an attack plan leaks from the White House. As the White House press conference on Wednesday, just hours after Goldberg's latest, Leavitt kicked things off by attacking Democrats and accusing media outlets of orchestrating a false story. Quote, if this story proves anything, it proves that Democrats and their propagandists in the mainstream media know how to fabricate, orchestrate, and disseminate a misinformation campaign quite well. Again, a frothing at the mouth, rabid lunatic, but that's par for the course with MAGA Republicans. That's precisely why she was appointed to that position. Let me be clear. She's very good at her job. She's better at it, in my opinion, than Kayleigh McEnany, than Sarah Huckabee Sanders, than Sean Spicer, because she is the culmination of the MAGA movement. She is quick on her feet, even though she never has the facts on her side. She's quick on her feet. She's combative. She's vicious. So she's, basically Donald Trump on steroids. Trump isn't particularly quick on his feet. Karoline Leavitt is, and that's what makes her the culmination of the MAGA press secretary transformation. And so anyway, disastrous performance nonetheless, visibly triggered, pissed off, at everybody because she knows she's screwed on the facts and has to defend an untenable, indefensible position. And that's why she cut and ran so damn quick. You'd love to see it. In the meantime, let me know what you think in the comments.